Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Juice in the Morning, and I am your host, Juice. And today I'm going to give you your daily dose of vitamin T as we look at the premiere episode of season 13 of RuPaul's Drag Race. My goodness, 2020 was a mess, so I'm glad we're starting off with something that will hopefully be delightful. Um, and as we go through, just as a note, two notes actually, if you haven't seen the episode, stop listening. Why are you listening if you haven't watched it yet? It's a review. Go away. Second thing is I am not a drag queen. I am not a fashionista, so my opinions on their outfits or their lip syncs is just from my personal standpoint, my eye. It is not an end all be all, nor do I want it to be. This is just an opinion. Feel free to agree or disagree. That's what is the best thing about reviews is, listening to other viewpoints as well. So if I like an outfit or a lip sync, I'm going to say that it is fab. And if I think that it is not great or ugly in any way, shape, or form, then I will say that it is drab. So we want things to be fab, we want to stay away from drab. And as we start, we're going to just go straight to the beginning. We know that there's going to be a twist right away where there are 6 lip syncs. That was from the previews, and of course the queens are gobsmacked as they're being told this. And so we're not sure, based on the preview, what all that means. Are you really eliminating half the queens right away? Is there a second twist? Who knows? But let's go ahead and get started. First queen in is Candy Muse, who is quick to tell us that she is formerly of the House of Aja, and she is way above Aja. And I'd like to just start by saying no. Just no. Aja was on first, and she was on All Stars. So just to start off, I don't know that you can say that. Moving on. So, her denim look, I really wasn't a fan of, especially that god ugly boombox that she was carrying. I don't get it. So her look is definitely, for me, it's drab. I just wasn't really impressed, and that could also be part of her personality was rubbing me the wrong way, and so maybe I could look at that again and change my mind, but I doubt it. The second queen in was Joey J, who was very much about their chicken feathers. And of course, Candy was throwing some shade about it being the cheapest kind of feathers. Well, we all ain't rich people, alright? So get your feathers where you can. Joey J is the first Phoenix queen, and as I'm from Phoenix, I of course feel the need to root for Joey J. I do believe what she was wearing was fab. The chicken feathers, despite what kind of feathers they are, I think it worked well with the rest of what she was wearing. So as the two are pretending to get to know each other, because you could tell they weren't necessarily excited to be one on one. They get called to the main stage, which, even though I knew there were going to be six lip syncs, I didn't necessarily think that's how it was going to go, so I was shocked. So we go to the main stage and see that it is set up differently. They have glass partitions between each other, so that they can't get the corona, which I appreciate all of the shows doing that. I feel like safety first for sure, and so although it did look like that they were all visiting somebody in jail, which I'm sure all 4 of the judges have before. It was nice to see them taking those precautions. So For all of these queens, the first thing that they do is they ask about their outfit, what inspired it, what does it say about you, and then they ask two other questions that were a little bit different. And the queens, none of them, I really feel like, gave answers that said enough about their style. And I'll kind of get into specific ones as we go. Um, Candy and Joey J, they kind of, were generic. This is my style. I'm this. Da, 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 da. Nothing spectacular to remember, in my opinion. And then it was time for them to lip sync for their life. And these queens' faces when they were told that was just like, you're kidding, right? And they had to lip sync to Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. And I thought they both did all right. I actually would have given the win to Joey J. I feel like they were a little more energetic, while Candy started out more cutesy and then got more energetic. But it didn't seem to flow. Like there wasn't a progression enough for me to go from cutesy to like wasn't even stalkery, like, which is how I would think that would go. So I would have given the win to Joey J. However, RuPaul disagrees with me, and Candy Muse was told to Shantae, and Joey J was told to sashay away, and was given the pork chop. And of course, that's not quite what she says. Sashay away, for elimination. But now she's saying, get the pork chop. So obviously there's a secondary twist coming based on just what she said. Another thing that she had said before any of the queens came out was, may the best drag queen win. That's new. Usually it's may the best woman win. So we'll kind of see, maybe there's a reason for that. I'm not sure at this point in the show why that would be a change, but we'll see as we go. So the next queen to enter is Denali, who is in a fierce ice skating, figure skating costume. She's even got the ice skates on, which I think is killer to wear the skates coming into the workroom. It kind of reminded me of Robbie Turner when she decided to lip sync with skates on, just like a bold, brave choice. So I thought her ice figure skating outfit was great. Her ponytail, swinging around, I think also very fierce. So her outfit to me was fab. And then the next queen was La Ree. And I wasn't as impressed with her whole outfit. I did love the little veil, sort of, that was over her face. I'm sure, an homage to the masks that everybody has to wear. But other than that, it just seemed very basic. White jacket, white undersuit, and then no pants. So I wasn't necessarily impressed by that. So I'm going to give that a drab. And, they were sweet, getting to know each other. They were talking about the figure skating quite a bit. Which, obviously someone comes in with, like, sharp ice skates. You're going to want to know about them. So they went out to the main stage. And again, they're just gagging in the worst way when they're told to go to the main stage. And they find out they're lip syncing for their life. And they lip synced to When I Grow Up by the Pussycat Dolls. And I think it was an unfair lip sync because of the fact that she was wearing her ice skates. There's not a whole lot you could probably do in ice skates without, hurting yourself. And, I know you gotta expect different things when you go into Drag Race or any reality show. but she didn't get a chance to get into heels or anything, and so she's trying her best in ice skates. And so, while I agree that La La Ree won the lip sync, and she killed the house down. I don't necessarily think it was super fair for Denali based on the ice skates. But you work with what you got, and she didn't work it hard enough. So La La Ree moves on, and Denali goes to the pork chop loading dock, which we get to see for the first time. And that's where all these queens who are eliminated go, and they're kind of waiting in this lounge area that has pictures of every first eliminated queen on there. And that was interesting to see, because of course you got Pork Chop as the biggest poster child for being first out, but then you've got Shangela and Venus Delight and Dahlia Sin in her broccoli. She's never going to get past that broccoli. And I think that's okay, because when you're first out, there's got to be something to remember about you. Kelly Mantle, who I still don't think should have gone home, but that's a bitterness from 18 seasons ago. Excuse me. And so it was cool to see that, and it kind of, making positive or making light of being first out. And later in the episode, they were talking about how it was actually okay for them to be in there because Shangela was out first, and now she's like one of the biggest names in Drag Race. And Vanjie was out first, and she is one of the big names of Drag Race. So, it's not always horrifying to be first out. That being said, has anybody heard of from Magnolia Crawford recently? No, me neither. So they're trying to make Roadkill positive, and in a way it worked out, and in a way it did not. So the next queens in were Simone, and I just had no, that no. That mini skirt with the Polaroids, it looked like, it's, how do I put this? It kind of looked like a boxy plastic paper bag. I know there wasn't anything attached to these pictures. It was pictures in chains, but Ivy Winters, she was not. I don't think it was flattering. I get, the story behind it. Drag saved her life, and so, she was paying homage to it. But that and the flat wig, I just wasn't feeling it at all. So, very much drab on that one. And then Tamisha Iman came in, and I loved her outfit. The red shoulder pads, I think, were giving me so much life, and it framed her face really well. So I was excited to see that. And, they got to talking in the workroom just about basic stuff. And then on the main stage, it was revealed that Tamisha Iman actually was cast for season 12. However, she got a cancer diagnosis right after, and radiation got so bad that she couldn't even walk. And so I think this is an amazing testament to this queen, but then also RuPaul as well, giving her a second chance. And you're like, okay, you know what? That's a serious deal. Obviously you can't be on season 12. We'll get you in 13. And she's done that for Eureka and Cynthia Lee Fontaine, I believe, is I think that's a lot of why she came back too. To get that second chance, because health issues are nothing to sneeze at. So it was great. to hear that strong story. Um, they then went ahead and lip synced to Janet Jackson's "The Pleasure Principle," and I thought that Tamisha did really well. I think she was more Janet Jackson, kind of channeling her and doing her types of movements. And Simone started out a little slow, but then she got kind of kooky. Um, and I do love myself a kooky queen. So it was kind of fun to watch. Um, but I kind of I really enjoyed Tamisha's just a little bit more, and so I was shocked that Simone was RuPaul's choice to move forward, um, and Tamisha was sent to the pork chop loading dock. Um, and so right now, I've only agreed with one of the three lip syncs, and so it makes me wonder: is there something up? Where, like, did the winner actually go to the pork chop loading dock, and the losers somehow act like they won? I don't know, but I just find it a little bit interesting. So the next queen to come in was Gottmik, and uh, I'm not sure about her outfit. It was very kabuki makeup, the full on white. It had, a pop of that neon color above her, for her eyeshadow, which I thought was really cute. And then this just multicolored loofah. I just didn't get it. So I would say that was drab, just because it didn't match enough or make enough sense to me. Um, and again, like I said before, I'm not a fashionista or drag queen, so you can disagree, and that makes the world go round. Just don't come around here. The next queen was Utica Queen from Utica. Get what she did there? Yeah, okay, thanks. Um, she came in looking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in the best way possible. I actually loved her look. You could tell what kind of queen she was from the second she walked in. And I think that, for me, that's what makes it a fab, because you knew who she was right away. It wasn't like, you know, a kooky queen that came in looking glamorous, or a glamour queen coming in kooky. Like, that was just, you could tell that's 100% who Utica Queen is. Um, the strawberry in the wig, I was losing it because I was so confused. Again, in the best way. So they were talking, and I think this is where we might have figured out why RuPaul says, may the best drag queen win. Because Gottmik revealed that she is a female to male transgendered person. And the reason that I got confused right there is, for me, you always talk about drag queens when you're saying who they are as she, and then being female to male, you would say he. And so in my brain, in that exact moment, I lost it a touch. So it was, no disrespect was meant by that. Literally, it was just, like I said, the drag queen, if you know them as their persona, you call them she. And if you know them outside, then that's where he comes in. But I digress. So they get out there, and RuPaul loves Gottmik's outfit. I guess I could understand it's high fashion. Yeah, I just, like, I'm not into that, I guess, as much. Um, when Utica Queen was asked, what that said about her, how she came up with that outfit, she just said that her style is putting this pattern and this pattern and this pattern together, and then poof, put it in a jar, shake it up, and there it is. And I kind of like that. And when asked about the strawberry, she said she's allergic to strawberries. Uh, and so, again, just outright weirdness. So I was living for it. Um, Now they lip synced to "Rumors" by Lindsay Lohan. I really didn't get much from either of them. Like, I don't know how Rue chose because I wasn't really gagging over either. So in this case, I probably would have sent them both to the loading dock. Um, but apparently that wasn't allowed for the first week. So Gottmik was named the winner, and Utica Queen was told to go to the loading dock. The next two were Rose, who she was in all pink. Usually, I'm not into the monochromatic, like, one color scheme, but I think because her name was Rose and she was basically the color of roses and rose, that I was okay with it. But it was still kind of basic. I did say that this was more on the fab side, barely, and I think that was just because um, it seemed like it was on brand. Um, but it was real. She's a super seasoned queen, um, and so obviously you would think that she's going to win or that she is one to beat. And then comes Olivia Lux, who is a newer queen, said only been doing it for a year and a half, and she was actually at a contest where Rose was a judge and Olivia was competing. So that was, of course, a little interesting that they were there. Um, Olivia's outfit, no, I'm sorry. I can't find anything nice to say about it. She looked like a pastel accordion, and no, I tried. I tried really hard to find something I liked about it. There's no, like, no. Uh, no. So going out on the main stage, uh, they talked about how they were, they knew each other and that, and they had to sing or lip sync to X's and O's by Elle King, which is one of my favorite songs. Um, and for the first 10 or 15 seconds, um, Rose, I thought, had it in the bag. And then Olivia took off that the bottom half of her ugly dress and started camping it up, and then I switched gears. And I really liked what Olivia was doing. When they said, like, X's and O's that haunt me, like, she actually looked like she was being haunted by a ghost. And when it said until I made my getaway, she actually picked up fake suitcases and tried to walk out, like sneak out. It was great. And then Rose, poor dear, it seems like she just wanted to spin. And I know a lot of times you see spinners or people who turn around and they are doing that because they don't know the words. But who doesn't know the words to X's and O's? I'm sorry. But I think her biggest foul was that half-assed death drop attempt. Um, and I think that's where I just kind of was completely lost with her. And so I gave it to Olivia. Originally, I would have given it to Rose up until halfway through, and then Olivia just owned it. So I agree with Rue, who sent Olivia to the winner's circle and Rose to the pork chop dock. The final three queens were Tina Burner, who at first I honestly didn't get what she was going for. I thought it was like crossing guard or something, and then my husband's like, it's a firefighter. And I was like, oh, Tina Burner, it's a firefighter. Okay, yeah. And then I saw it completely. Her hair is a um, wig, or her hair was like a helmet. Yeah, anyways, yikes. So, I'm dumb. But of course, once I realized that it's super fabulous, so definitely a fab there. Um, Very seasoned queen, so I think she's gonna make it pretty far. Great sense of humor. It seemed like second queen in was Kimora Hall, who just because she was bitching about it so much, I just want to call her Kimora or Kimora Hall, because she made sure it's Kimora Hall. Kimora. Alright, gotcha. Um, I was in love with her dress, which I would give a fab, but that wig was terrible. So it's fab drab fab, kind of in the middle. Cause the dress was great, but the hair was awful. So, um, yeah, again, I just the attitude killed me on that one. And then came the weirdest named drag queen I've heard of in a long time, and that's Elliot with two T's. That's their drag name. Not just Elliot, but Elliot with two T's. And Tina Burner said something about it reminding her of E.T. Elliot. And then I had to correct her through the television, and it's E.T.T. Because it's Elliot with two T's. Get it? Pretend you're laughing. Um, but her outfit was very 80s. At first, I thought it was kind of pedestrian. Um, Not a whole lot to it. But then, like, when I started thinking about the genre her whole outfit was, including her hair, um, it made sense. And so I kind of would have said it was fab in the end. Started drab, and with my brain thinking, it changed to fab. Um, they went out on the main stage, and I don't. For some reason, they didn't. Kimora didn't say she had to be called Kimora to RuPaul, so yeah, that's strange. Um, and they didn't ask Elliot about her name, so those were two things that I would have been like, "Yo." Uh, but they didn't, so whatever. Um, they lip synced to Lady Marmalade from Moulin Rouge. As a song, I hate this version. I didn't like it in Moulin Rouge. I hate the music video. I don't understand it. So already the song choice had me. But as far as the lip sync, I think Tina and Elliot did really well. I didn't know if this was going to be a one winner, two elimination at first, or a two winner, one elimination. So in my mind, Tina killed it. Elliot was not far behind, and then Kimora was third. So I would have kept Tina and Elliot. However, um, RuPaul only kept Tina, so I disagree a little bit because I think Elliot did well enough that unless this is just the whole part of the twist, Elliot should have stayed as well. Um, so those were that was the whole episode, guys. The whole episode was six lip syncs, kind of getting to know the queens a little bit, and then we go back to the pork chop loading dock. Before I talk about that, which then gives the second twist, I was really disappointed in this episode. I get what they were doing as a cool twist, like, oh, let's do this, divide them up, let's just throw them off their game. I understand that has to happen, and like, they felt like this was a good twist. They've already done the two split them and do two separate premieres. They've done the and have two first eliminated where Kelly Mantle and Magnolia Crawford were eliminated. They've done last season where they split them up into two groups, and instead of having two losers, they had two winners. But that's what I just felt like made the show less entertaining. I really wasn't totally into it. They could have just had a montage of quick, hi, I'm Rose, hi, I'm Olivia Lux. Hey, you were in a contest I did. Oh yeah, main stage, bam. Reaction, dance, you're good, you're bad, go. And then whatever when you get the loading dock twist, the second part they could have actually done during this episode. And then, given us a little bit more for the next. But going back to the pork chop loading dock, the 7 queens that were in there, Joey J, Denali, Tamisha Iman, Utica Queen, Rose Kamora Hall, and Elliot, they were in there talking about how sad it is that they're going home, and the only queen who really seemed to think that this was going to be some sort of twist was Denali. And I think a lot of that was, I'm not leaving. It's not time for me to leave. Not leaving. There's got to be a twist. There's got to be a twist. That's got to be a twist. And I don't know how I could have stayed positive in that moment, because you just get out there, you meet RuPaul, you meet the judges, and then you're sent home. And Rose, when she was eliminated, and she's just like, okay, I guess I'm leaving now. Like, that's pretty much how I would have reacted too. Everybody else seemed to have a, one-liner set up, and I do love Utica Queens, where she's like, I'll get you for this, RuPaul. Well, girl, be careful, because the twist is they all have a chance to come back in the competition, but they have to vote and give one of their fellow queens the chop. Now, it doesn't say who they're giving the chop to. Is it one of the ones in there? Is it one of the ones in the winner's circle? Because Ru was not specific about it. I do love, though, the homage to Grease, where it had the ding, ding, ding on the little xylophone that Michelle was doing. I thought that was a great Easter egg for Grease fans, which, let's face it, if you're watching RuPaul's Drag Race, you've at least watched Grease 5 or 12 times. So I thought it was a good homage. So they're gagging, of course, and Tamisha said, well, I'm the only black girl, so don't vote me out. If this was a horror movie, you'd be first out. So you better be quiet, because otherwise they're going to tell you to get out. Wait for laughter. Okay. So, as far as this twist goes, there could be 100 ways that it could go. This could be that person gets immunity. This could actually be that person goes home. It could be they stay there and they have to work their way harder out. I don't know. But here's what I would do. Now, if I was in there and I was voting for someone to, I'm thinking that they're going home, I would choose Rose or Tamisha. And the reason I would do that is because I want to win, and those two queens have been around for a long, long time. They've mentioned they've been around a long time. Rose mentioned that she lost to somebody who she was judging in a contest. Well, if you're judging a contest, you're obviously seasoned. And so, while you may not have done that lip sync very well or lost the lip sync, your competition. Same with Tamisha. And if she was already supposed to be on season 12, you know that she's fierce because that's one season more than this, or before this. So um, I would be that shady person and get rid of um, one of those two. The opposite side of things, if I was just going to get rid of somebody who seemed weak, I hate to say this, but I would probably vote for Utica Queen, or Kimura. Kimura mainly because of that wig and attitude, but Utica, I don't think people understand her enough. The rest of them were very polished. They were very, um, I guess, more glamorous, and I think a lot of times the glamour queens do pick on the comedy queens. So I do feel like they would go after Utica. I wish Utica would have fixed her wig when she came back into the pork chop loading dock, as you could see his boy hairline, and so that was a little distracting for me. What do I predict is going to happen? Honestly, I feel like this is just a big joke, and either this is how they split them up for the next challenge, which, if you look at the preview that they gave, it is about a um, singing competition or a singing challenge. And they've done two teams of singers before. We've seen it in All Stars 3. We've seen it in, with Bianca Del Rio, where she had her sassy ass mouth. Um, but I don't know what's going to happen. But seriously, this episode left me wanting a lot more. Um, I was not super impressed by it, which is it's a crying shame. Um, but I guess honestly, I'd give this episode, if I was gonna do it, out of 10, maybe a 6, because I did get some fun in it, but it went too slow. The lip syncing stuff wasn't as exciting as I thought it was gonna be. Um, and the pork chop loading dock, I feel like if the whole point is to separate them into groups, or the whole point is to just get one of them to vote each other off or whatever, I think it's just mean. I mean, look at those queens were so defeated. Um, they all of them just looked like they had been, well, defeated. Um, and it didn't help that RuPaul made that joke. Like, okay, the bus will be here soon to take you to your destination. Like, all of their faces sank, like the Titanic. And I just don't know that that was the most appropriate way to do that. So hopefully it doesn't turn into what was called the All Stars bullshit, um, and that it turns out that they all get to stay, and maybe this is just like episode one shenanigans. Um, but I'm not sure. So, if I had to pick a queen that I was living for right now, um, on the winner side of things, I really like Tina Burner. I think she's hilarious. She does seem a little bit full of herself, um, but I think that so far it seems like it's warranted. As far as who I'm not a fan of on the winner's side, I'm sorry. I just Olivia Lux has got to amp up or show me some like actual outfits and not that. I'm sorry. It's a pastel accordion. That's all I can think of. Like just big old wrinkly, Joan Rivers needing to get another facelift. Um, on the pork chop loading dock side, the queen that I'm most living for is still um, Utica. I know I said that I'd probably, if I was the other queens, I'd probably vote her off. But I feel like I'm going to get a lot of fun kookiness out of her. Um, and then as far as one that I'm not interested in seeing more of is Kimura. I just, no. So, anyways, that's my take on RuPaul's Drag Race premiere episode 1. Uh, and next Friday, like I said, they will have the results of this vote, and we'll get to find out exactly what it means. And then we'll get to hear some girls singing. I really don't think we're going to get any better than the Frock Destroyers version when they did that in uh, Drag Race UK. I still listen to that occasionally. Or I'm in love with Hannibal Lecter. Uh, it just those were beyond. So I'm hoping it's good. I have low hopes because I'm not a fan so far of some of the queens on the winning side. But we'll see. They could prove me wrong, or next week I'll be on here saying, "Ha ha! I was right again." Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you do, if you did, share, comment, let me know what you think. If you hated it, shut your trap. No, you can totally give some constructive criticism, and I'll take it straight to heart when I find it. Until next time, this has been Juice in the Morning. Until then, this has been Juice in the Morning, and we will see you next time with another dose of vitamin T.